actually. And we see a progression of time. It looks as if they're at the beginning of the day. So brushing teeth, the use of reflection works nicely. Kissing, so perhaps saying goodbye and have a nice day to this sweet cat. The angle of the image works well, the vantage point, getting right down on level. Brewing, so starting the morning with making coffee. I like the spilled coffee there. Drinking it, nice peaceful interlude, drinking coffee outside on a lovely day. And finally leaving. So we don't know where the subject is going, but the implication is that this is the beginning of the day, obviously starting with sleeping, and finally leaving, possibly for work or school, going out into the bright light. We don't know where, but nice job. Very nice job, Camille. Thank you. So next up is Jennifer. Let's go to Jennifer's work. A very different, a different grouping, a different type of presentation of life, I suppose. These are untitled, so we kind of have to guess at what's going on. This looks to have been taken in the early evening, perhaps. A nice use of shallow depth of field, but not so shallow that we can't tell what's going on in the background. It looks as if it might be down at Moss Landing with those huge stacks. And again, stacks, and in the foreground, sort of wetlands. Nice little reflection here in the water. Beautiful, beautiful image of, I think it's an egret. The reflection is lovely. I really like that you can't actually see any horizon. In fact, the only horizon is kind of the joining of the actual bird with the reflection, and lovely subdued lighting, beautiful color. Max, this is entitled Max. We don't know who Max is, but Max appears to work in some sort of health food store, perhaps. At least this area shows medicines or supplements. And Max is holding a water bottle and has a mask on, a sign of the times. Okay. And we don't know who this is. The lovely image showing the time of day. You have long shadows, beautiful golden light. We don't know why the person is kneeling here, but has a sort of contemplative feel. Wonderful little, is it a boxer or not a boxer? Pardon me, maybe a French bulldog. Great expression on the dog's face, looking back, not necessarily happily, but great image. Another lovely image, person up in the tree. We don't know why, but that's okay. Very nice framing of the person in the tree. And our friend the dog again. Maybe you don't need both in this particular set of images. This one works nicely, though it's a little hazy, but this image, I think, is so strong of the dog. So I might end here. But very nice job, Jennifer. Thank you. So next up we have Alex. And Alex's images all seem to show an event at a racing event, car racing event. And each image works pretty nicely, you know. We have a beginning, a meeting of sorts, more of an overview, nice portrait of this person who is apparently going to be driving. And then there are three images of the person, in the car. So I don't think you need all of these. Just one, I think, would work well. And then maybe show more of what's going on, maybe more of a narrative from, you know, of a period of time, maybe from beginning to end. So again, each of these images works nice. I think this one is the most successful as an image as a whole. Very nice portrait of this person. But then again, as I said, these are a little repetitious, so maybe a broader series of images. Okay, thank you, Alex. Nice job overall. Next up, we have Caden. And we have some very nice images. It looks as if, well, I'm not going to say, but very nice images here at the shore or banks of water. A city image, nice use of light. It gives a real sense of being there, and also the time of day, being kind of blinded almost. These two are the same, just different exposures. And a nice overview of this area here. Coming in close actually works nicely, but beautiful light, beautiful sense of the time of day. And a cityscape here. So these two are rather similar. And I kind of like the more of an overview, this one here. This one is a little more amorphous, you might say, though it comes in closer, and it does give a sense of being in this crowd, you know, like so. But I might expand, you might say. So I think that these four images work nicely, and I might add two more or more, expanding what we're looking at. As I said, I think of course, these two are the same image, and then these two are a little bit repetitious, so I might replace those two. But nice job overall, Caden. Thank you. Next, we have Nancy, and some lovely images of children. That's beautifully composed, just very nicely composed. Not just an image of these two people interacting, but a very nice sense of place, you know, a very organized image in terms of composition. These next two are in black and white, and they work very nicely in black and white, showing scenes, you know, of this life. Very nice portrayal of family life here. Two-fisted eating, and very nice use of shallow depth of field, directing our eyes right into the child's face. And another nice use of shallow depth of field, and a wonderful interaction between the child and the bowl. So very nicely done there. hard to tell if these are all the same family and at the same time. And the date stamps don't really tell us anything. So I would like to know when they were taken. And of course, who they're of, but they are lovely images. So thank you, Nancy. Kyle is next. And here we have a different presentation of life, definitely a sense, a temporal sense here, a sense of time of when this was taken. Nice use, obviously, of color. I don't know why, of course, these are shown, but obviously they have some significance in Kyle's life. Internal view. Possibly Kyle's room. We have Star Wars Lego and clothing and a television and a backpack being worn by a chair and just some legs. So interesting absence of a person except for the legs right here on the edge of the frame. And that works very nicely. A view of in shape. So presumably a part of life. I think it would work nicely to do this face on instead of this little piece of what's presumably a car. So either showing more of the car and maybe getting out of the car on the way to in shape, or just in shape. We don't know why the bathroom is of significance. So yeah, I would like to know why this is. I mean, of course, the bathroom is part of all of our lives at various points of the day, but I would like to know why it's shown here. And another, same bedroom from a different angle at a different time of day. So that's a little repetitious. I might show either this image or this one. You know, obviously different times of day with a slightly different emphasis on things. So if you're doing a progression of time, like from the beginning to the end of the day, then this one might work well as the first image. Excuse me. I don't think you need the angles in all of these, or most of them. So I think you can show these subjects in an interesting way without using the angles, you know, tilting the camera in one way or another. So you might start to think about composition and what you're trying to say and convey about your experiences, about your life in these images, and how best to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kyle. Next we have Eric, and a definite mix of images here of subject matter. A deer. It looks like a bobcat. Beautiful image. I would love to know where these were taken and when. The Swiss flag. So very nicely composed image. Beautiful use of selective color, of course, of pattern and texture, of light and shadow, and very nicely framed. Good job on this image. An interesting angle, the dog here. Might, you're not supposed to manipulate these, but I might open up the shadows just a bit so we can see the dog's expression a little better. Nice image there. Sorry, let me get out of here. So fixing or constructing of a vehicle. The underbody, I guess, or is it the chassis? I'm afraid I know very little, but a nice presentation here of part of your life, I assume, and a very mechanical part or technical. Watching TV or movie. Nice vantage point, you know, with presumably with feet here and shooting the television. Billiards. Nice angle. I might use shallower depth of field here, if possible. And since you're using the widest aperture, perhaps a longer lens, if you can move the camera back and then use a longer lens to achieve shallower depth of field. But this works very nicely. You might try for an even slower shutter speed, or have the person who's shooting actually hit the ball so you can see the balls in motion. Okay. Shoes. What they mean here, we don't know, but they're quite worn, so possibly a favorite pair of shoes. And we don't, of course, know the significance here of RC farms, but there's obviously a connection to hats and a shirt. So possibly this is where Eric lives or works or both. Okay, thank you, Eric. Nice job. Next up, we have Natalie. So lots of different scenes, different places. Lovely use of color, shallow depth of field, and I'm assuming that you actually manipulated these somewhat, since the depth of field is very specific, is not actually the depth of field one would get on a, you know, just shifting the aperture. So selective focus, I guess, as with this image. So I would like to know what you did and how you manipulated the images. And of course, I prefer that you guys not manipulate the images. I want to see them as you shot them. The scale here is really kind of interesting and a little weird. In fact, the subjects look almost as if they've been, you know, placed in here. Sorry. And the you know, kind of miniaturized relative to the scale of the rocks. Yeah, interesting effect. Okay, walking on the beach. Very nice. Beautiful view of these of the birds. Lovely color. Again, I'd love to know where these were taken, in the zoo perhaps, or a visit somewhere else. Yeah, lovely. That's just so beautiful, the detail there. These flamingos, I assume they're flamingos. Okay, lovely landscape, a little bit dark in here. And I might isolate it a little bit, but really we have a very nice sense of a vantage point of where we are relative to this this peak up here. Again, the selective focus is a little Odd. Okay. Nice use of black and white. And a beautiful image to end on here. Oops. The tidal pool, I assume it's a tidal pool here, kind of leading our eyes out to the open ocean, but protected. Nice division of the frame with reflection also. So nice job, very nice job, Natalie, overall. Again, I'd like to know what you were using, what effect or how you affected this this selective focus. Okay. All right. Thank you. And next up, we have Alexis. So a different view of life. Oh, what a sweetheart there, a sweet dog. In this image also, you've used quite a high shutter speed, actually very high ISO. I think you could come down a bit and you can see the effect of the high ISO on the graininess, you know, that we get, or the noise, as it's called digitally. So I think you've been able to use a shutter speed of 1/2500th of a second, which is pretty fast. So if you went down, let's see, 12,000 would make it 1250. 6,400 would make it 600, 3,200, 300, 1,600. So you could go down to ISO 1,600 and still use a shutter speed of about 1/125th. This would, and still keeping the aperture the same, so you'd have the shallow depth of field, but you could get rid of a lot of this noise unless you want it, and that is different, of course. Opening up the shadows a bit, I think works nicely. So you could actually overexpose a little bit to get more detail in the shadow areas, but wonderful expression on the dog's face. Okay. So nice capturing of motion here, stopping motion. If the person is actually moving, it looks as if she is. You probably could come in a little closer in, I don't know that you were capable of doing it, but in terms of the image, possibly isolating a little bit more of this, though we are given a sense of place and also of the emptiness of it. So nice job on that. Obviously a gym of some sort. In this case, the composition is a little haphazard. It's hard to tell what exactly you were trying to show. So I would back up a little bit and maybe show more of the people, or, you know, change where you're standing, show more of the machines or something of that sort. Very sweet image of the dog again, this time outside. You've cut off the bottom of the dog, and if you do that, that's okay, but you've shown all this other information around the dog. So it makes it look pretty haphazard that you just cut the bottom off. If you were to come in really close, that's something, again, you know, you can, then you can cut off the bottom and it looks as if you've done it on purpose. But this way, it looks as if you just cropped the bottom off accidentally. Okay, nice use of light and relatively shallow depth of field. Nice interior shot of this person relaxing. It gives us a sense of place and this person on the phone, as many of us are for great periods of the day. The lighting is a little difficult, so you have bright lights and deep shadows, and the camera can't expose correctly for both. And so in this case, the camera tried to expose a little bit more for the highlights, which will underexpose the rest of the image. And so the shadows are a little bit dark. Had the camera decided to expose for the shadows, then the highlights would be even brighter. So it's a difficult lighting situation. And finally, this image, I don't know why this is of significance. This stuffed turtle, I guess it's a mirror here that's been written on with a lot of messages. And you might isolate just this or this and the turtle. I don't know that the window is necessary in the frame. It is nice to see what's on the other side of the turtle. So you might consider doing something like that. Okay. Nice job overall. Very nice job overall, Alexis. Thank you. So next up, Alondra. I hope I said that correctly. And we have a lot of images here, which is nice. Nice use of shallow depth of field here. And I'm not sure what type of animal it is, if it's a lizard or a gecko, but very nice angle with it facing down as if it's looking, kind of curiously at us. Beautiful dog. Interesting perch. And it might work nicely to actually leave a little more room at the bottom so we can see where the dog is, if there's height here. But very nice job. And your birds, parakeets maybe? Nicely done. And this one at the edge of the frame. Cool. Very nice reflection and peering at this person who's peering out at you is what it looks like. I might straighten the image just a bit more, make it a little more formal, I guess, like so. Yeah, beautiful, very beautiful image. Oh. What a cutie. That's a beautiful image. With the apple instead of a ball. I love that. That's just great. Yeah, really nice job there. This one a little dark. Not sure what you're trying to say here, except of course for the fact that you've got plants inside. But I might photograph it more straight on instead of, this angle from below, or, come around to the right a little bit. Okay. A nice still life. I might back up just a little bit so we see the edge of Pulp Fiction and straighten this out a little more. But a nice presentation of part of your world. Beautiful use of shallow depth of field here. Oops. Yeah, very nicely done. That's fun here, looking at the different, they look like little Polaroid images. Yeah, little parts of your life. And then I like that they're really small and then framing these two much larger comic books or covers of comic books. Nice image. I don't know if it's a self-portrait or portrait of a friend or family member. The cat looks as if the cat is maybe looking at something else. Well, certainly its attention is elsewhere, maybe trying to escape, which is at odds, of course, with the happy, affectionate expression on the human's face. And a very different interaction here. Yeah, nice job. The spacing works really well. This one may be a little repetitious, and not quite as strong in a way. So given both of these, I would go with this image. I think that works really nicely. In this one, I might just isolate this. I think that works so nicely. And look, the cat's eyes are almost a little bit crossed, looking at the hand with possibly food in it. All right. Okay, this works well. Not sure what it's representing here, except for possibly a liking of some sort of drink. And a very nice interaction there with the hands, the heads, peace sign. Yeah, nice way to end the set as well. So very nice job, Alondra. Okay, thank you. Next, Michelle Sanchez. That is a huge sunflower. So very nice portrait of person with sunflower. It says here farmer's market. Beautiful fire. Yeah, lovely lovely capturing of the fire. 1/440th of a second, which is pretty fast for a nighttime image. And it looks as if you've used your iPhone for these images. This one has definitely been manipulated. I'm assuming you're not, in an area that has a volcano exploding or some erupting. So I'd prefer that you not manipulate the images, but a lovely evening scene, a lovely ocean scene. One thing that we don't pay that much attention to, I think, when we're shooting, but that is keeping the horizon horizontal. It creates that kind of unconscious or subconscious tension in the image. And I think it unless you have a specific reason to not have the horizon horizontal, I would try to keep it horizontal. Okay, and that's a little hard because the water, you have this rise of the land on the other side that is only on one side of the frame, so it's harder to see what horizontal is. But nicely done on this image. Sweet dog. I love the tongue here. That's wonderful. nice capturing of that motion. And finally, the gym. So different aspects of life, nicely done. One thing I want to say is that these earlier images are dated before our term started. And so I want to see images that were made for this assignment. So only the last two show that they were done over the course of this term and this fall. These are lovely images. But I would like to see images made for this class. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle. And next up we have Christian. What a wonderful image. Let's look at all of them here. Beautiful use of light. Cats do love to lie in the sunlight. And this is a lovely use of light and shadow, and the cat just seems to be so enjoying where he or she is in that moment. Very nice vantage point looking down the hallway at this cat, who appears almost to have been like caught in the act of doing something, you know. Lovely composition of the hallway and the doorway, and then the frame of the window beyond, and a nice layering, I guess, of light and shadow and light again. Wonderful empty classroom. And I don't know if that means you are the student who got here early or remained late. If you're the instructor doing the same, I'm going to say the same thing again about the horizon. I think it works better to have an image of this sort with a horizontal horizon, because it's so formally composed that little tilting is a little disconcerting. You know, it causes a certain tension that I'm not sure you want. One nice thing about Lightroom that you're not supposed to do, but I will, is that it can also, let me undo that, alter different angles, horizontal and vertical. And so it looks as if you're not quite straight on. Okay. So that one works really well for me. Okay. Nice job there. Interesting image here showing this dog just kind of collapsed, maybe at the end of the day or early in the day before you guys have gotten up. Very nicely done. I don't know that you need all the information at the top of the frame, and I'm being nitpicky, or if it seems I'm being nitpicky, it's because I really like these images, and so I think fine tuning would work, you know, would really enhance them. And you can decide how much of the stuff on the wall you actually want, but I don't think you need to go all the way to the top. So maybe something like this, which gives you a sense of place, but really directs the eyes to the dog more. Okay. Work and play. You know, we have the mouse, and then the control for gaming here. Nicely done. I think that, you know, the shadows are a little bit dark, and of course that's because we have a bright background, and again the camera really can't expose correctly for both highlights and shadows. Can kind of affect it afterwards, although some shadow works nicely. Okay. Finally, work. Lots of work. And you are obviously working in a different language. It looks to me to be Japanese, but I am no expert, sadly. But it works beautifully. This still life of assignment or work and earbuds, the eraser, the pencil. So very nicely composed. And I love the little smiley face there in red, that little bit of color. Okay, really, really nice job, Christian. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And next we have Diane. So some lovely images here, beautiful fuchsias. Let me just go here. So not sure about the dates here. It looks as if these were made like the first day, first day of our first week of our very long semester. So beautiful job here. Interesting isolation of the bark here. Unfortunately, it's not quite in focus. So you're outside. I think if you upped the ISO to 400, perhaps, that would give you 2 stops more of play room, you might say. So you could, this is about half a second. So you could do a quarter, an eighth of a second, and that I think would help you out in terms of camera motion. Okay, but very nice isolation of this texture. Very nice vantage point. The strings of the electric guitar leading into the acoustic guitar with the ukulele in here as well. Nice use of side lighting. I'm wondering, not that it's a bad thing, just wondering why you chose to put all of the instruments, the guitars and the ukulele, on the bed. Is there a significance to that? Because if not, then I think maybe you don't need this, the bedding, the stuff that's on the side. But if there is a significance, then that's fine. Lovely outdoor scene, very nice stopping of the water here, freezing of the motion of the water, shallow depth of field as well. I'm wondering why you use such a high ISO rating here. It allowed you to use a very fast shutter speed, but I'm not sure you needed one that was quite that fast. But anyway, just curious about that. Very nice image of the cat. Kind of contemplative. Looks as if it was, done early in the morning. Yeah, nicely done. A little bit dark, but perhaps purposeful, depending on the time of day that this was taken. Very nicely organized image. Obviously, I don't know the significance of this. It looks like a nice handmade mailbox. Very nicely composed. interesting scene here. It says prescribed, still scary, agreed. Yeah, so this was a purposeful burn, but it is still kind of alarming to see, you know, the destruction here. Beautiful, you know, isolation of that here. Well, I isolated it. Never mind. But the contrast between, you know, this hard line between the burn and the unburned area. Okay. And finally, self-portrait, nicely done. I'm wondering why you chose to show yourself as a shadow, but it works very nicely. And obviously the vantage point is necessary, looking down at it, but it works very well. So thank you, Diane. Yeah, beautiful work. And I'm not sure if it's Nayla or Nyla, but very nice isolation of these pieces of your life. Pieces of food, coming in close to them, a board game, the colors, you know, the almost primary colors plus green, although it's RGB as well. Isolated nicely. Obviously, we don't know the significance of the panda, but it works nicely here with the reflection as well, and the pink behind it. Unusual. Lovely, intimate portrait, informal, intimate portrait of this person and her art. And of this person and his garden. It's a little overexposed up here, which is too bad. I'm wondering when it was taken here, but we can see a tomato in the back and very lush, beautiful tomato plants. Nice expression on the face, kind of, you know, happy, relaxed. And finally, family life, I guess. Evening family life with the snacks and the game on the TV. Nicely done. I might come around just a tiny bit more to the right to have the watchers a little bit more central, as opposed to the fireplace and the mirror. I don't know that you need them in the image, but very nicely done. So great job. Thank you. Yeah, great collection of images. Next is, I hope I say this correctly, Tamana. And a nice presentation of life here, playing, I think it's Jenga. I love the hand on the head. That works so well. It gives such a sense of this game, you know, the stress. Different game, and also a game of strategy of a different sort. The concentration on their faces is wonderful. Book, obviously, the candle illuminating it gives it a sense of almost of nostalgia, you know, of reading by candlelight. And the surrender experiment, I don't know if that has personal significance or it's just happens to be what you were reading. But so that's a question for us. backyard, lovely use of color. Yeah, beautiful layering effect, you know, the foreground and the midground and the background. Very nicely done. Sweet dog. Nice vantage point. I think it would work. I think it would be nice if there were, you know, you had a little like all of the dog or purposely coming in a little closer and maybe getting down a little more on level with the dog. But I really like the shadow. I assume it's your shadow, maybe, going across the dog. And finally, a very carefully composed picture of Steph Curry's shirt. And I'm not sure what this part actually means. I'm sorry. For me, RIP means rest in peace. Not sure if that's what the purpose is here, but very carefully composed image. And this arc at the bottom, for me, is what makes the image successful. Without it, it would just be, you know, a representation, a showing of this shirt. But this arc at the bottom makes it a composed photograph. So nice job. Okay, finally, we have Will's images. Workplace, right? The light from the monitor and the keyboard, I think, really make the image work because of the yellow greenish light from the light source. So this could be, you know, could be manipulated more, but because we have the blue light coming from the monitor, it works even with the orangey light, and in fact gives us a sense of where it was taken, you know. Okay, outdoor play, nicely done, showing some motion. I love this. There's so much space in the frame, and but the dogs are so close together. And in this case, I think it works really nicely. It really emphasizes the fact that the dogs are walking together, and the tethers also work well. Yeah, great job on that. Game time. Walk time. Nice use of space, you know, photographing from behind. Looks as if those are the same dogs. Too bad we can't see them a little bit better. There, that kind of works, right? Yeah, nicely done. I like the emptiness of this image. It has the feeling, I guess, in a way, of potential of either the game or someone about to begin, or perhaps the end, you know, with the long shadows. Also, the encroachment of nature on this basketball court is really interesting. And finally, I guess, end of day, right? I'm, as I've said with a few other images, not yours, Will, but I might straighten it out a bit. Let me go back there. There's a lot of bottom that's dark, and it kind of pulls the eye down, which is too bad because the upper part is so amazing. And it's not that you don't want any of the foreground, but I don't know that you need quite as much. The light works beautifully, doesn't it? The sort of star effect coming from the light. And it looks like we have some motion there, and that's interesting as well. So I might give it almost a panoramic effect like this. I think that might work well, but lovely image and a very nice way to end the set of images. So great job. And that's it for this assignment. I think you all did a lovely job showing your existence, I guess, such as they are. All right. Your existences, plural. So great job. And thank you very much for sharing. And so that ends this portion of this. So thank you very much, and we'll take a look at your next assignment in a little bit. All right.